This is the Last Man Standing podcast with your host, Richard James.
Welcome to the podcast, gentlemen. I'm Richard James. Today's podcast might be a little controversial in some ways because it's pushing back against some politically correct ideas, and in other ways because it's using some generalizations, which I found necessary to prove my point here today. Also, I want to mention that I presented these ideas to a lot of women over the last year, and with the exception of my wife, almost all of them found this content offensive. So that's my disclaimer. Let's get into it. So here's the idea. Your woman might say that she wants you to express emotions and be vulnerable about your weaknesses, but she actually doesn't. She doesn't want to know. She might ask what's wrong, but most of the time she can't actually handle the truth. She might say it's sexy when a man cries, but she is lying to herself. Does she care about you? Yes. Does she want you to be okay? Yes. But more than that, she needs to know that the entire family will be okay. It's entirely possible that the weakness, obstacle, confrontation, or emotions that you are dealing with, while perfectly normal things for men to struggle with, might create unnecessary stress or red flags for her. Do you know why? Well, she wants you to handle your problems because you are the leader. If you can't handle your problems, then how can you be capable of solving the family's problems? She wants you to be stable because stability is a masculine responsibility. It's not her job to hold things together. It's your job. Women are not attracted to weakness. Women are not attracted to victims. Women are not attracted to emotional men. Women are not attracted to stuck men. Women are not attracted to lost men. And we might not be any of those things, but while we are working through our issues, we might convincingly sound that we are that way. And I promise you, no matter how many times you've heard the feminist idea that it's sexy when he cries, it isn't, fellas. Do you know who is attracted to those things? Therapists. And even if your mate is a mental health professional, she would much prefer to leave her work at work and not have to practice at home on you. Women are looking for strong, courageous leaders who overcome obstacles, provide, protect, and make the hard decisions for the family. These men don't have to be perfect, but they need to be showing up and growing in all of these areas. This is much more important to women than having him open up about his emotions. Many effeminate males in our culture today were propagandized by the feminist movement to express their deepest emotions to their mate in the same manner that a woman expresses herself to her mate. This doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is because of something called polarization. This is a necessary component of sexual attraction where a strong masculine energy meets a soft feminine energy like Beauty and the Beast. This is why they say opposites attract. It's why the homecoming queen is attracted to the biggest jerk in school. It's why even in homosexual relationships, typically they contain one individual who's playing a masculine role and one who's playing a feminine role. Because men are biologically more rational than women, we can handle hearing our mate expressing just about any emotion with relatively low emotional strain on ourselves. We might even be able to solve some problems, which we like doing. On the flip side, because women are biologically less rational, more emotional, and even more neurotic than men, a man's expressions of fears, pain, or discouragement can actually become a heavy burden for this woman to have to help him carry. At the end of the day, it's all about establishing boundaries around what you share with your mate, with your spouse. One of the key roles of a man is to protect the physical, emotional, and spiritual state of those under his care. We've got to remember this when we're determining what to communicate with our spouse and what to communicate with a trusted friend, mentor, pastor, or therapist. The question to ask yourself is what I have to say going to create unnecessary fear, anxiety, confusion, or insecurity in my wife? If the answer is yes, then find an alternative sounding board. Should you lie? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Trust is essential for a healthy marriage. Obviously, never lie to her. If you find out you're sick or your loved one dies or you get fired from your job, you better tell her the truth. If you're feeling depressed or struggling to cope with something, you can tell her, but be careful not to leave it in a dark place. She needs to know that you are proactively seeking help or working on it. She needs to know that you will overcome the thing because that is your duty. And I'll leave it with this. Your woman is not your shrink. Don't let the expression of your negative emotions undermine your headship. Protect her heart, protect her emotions, and find another man to be your sounding board and your advisor. We're going to leave it right there for today, guys. Make sure you go check us out on Instagram at Last Men Tribe. Make sure you check us out on TikTok at Last Men Tribe. Make sure you check out lastmen.us for the blog. And if you're not subscribed for the newsletter, go to habitchallenge.net, habitchallenge.net, and sign up for the weekly Habit Challenge. Until next time, I'm Richard James.
Thanks for listening to the Last Men Standing podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. Visit our weekly blog at lastmen.us.